All right, we are live again on Spaces. Here we go. Hope everyone had a good 4th of July. All right, let's get people filing in here. All right, where is George? There he is. Approved. There we go. How you doing, my friend?
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to there's some power splurges happening, so
That's always fun. Well, if we lose you, we understand. It's no worries if that happens. I totally get it. We don't have we have like a monsoon season here where that can happen. Knock on wood. Luckily, I should be okay. A couple of years ago, we had some really bad power outages every time it rained, and so the power company had to go in and make major changes in the area, and it's been good since. So I think we got some new.
Yeah, I was getting some static and stuff. Some real bad
Geez.
static on my thing here, and I'm like, all of a sudden the screen went out. I'm like, what the fuck? What happened?
Right, yeah, that happened to me with once when before I changed to the new mic with my old headset, where I set everything up, and then I came in and it, nothing was connected, nothing was working. I'm like, I preset that up so this wouldn't happen. Oy.
Yeah, no, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah. No, it's good though. But we'll see if people file in. If not, we can just kind of have a conversation, talk about stuff with SmackDown.
I like how shit just pops up on YouTube for WCW and stuff.
Oh yeah, which one? I haven't been on YouTube today.
Right now I'm watching. What am I watching? Beach Blast 1992.
Wow. See, yeah. Oh man. There's. Everybody always thinks when they think of WCW, we always think of the old, the Nitro years, because that's what was most popular, most famous. But man, there's a whole, because obviously with Jim Crockett, it goes back even further. But what is it, 1988 was when Turner officially bought it and changed the name to the WCW name from what the old show was. But that means you got from 88 till, Nitro doesn't really take off as Nitro till 96.
And Medusa.
Missy Hyatt, yes.
And Missy Hyatt.
Made in the USA.
Not right now, because right now what we got? We got Rick Rude and Ricky the Dragon.
Okay. All right.
And this is back when Ricky the Dragon was doing this whole, little Ricky come to the ring with him. And his wife. Remember his wife getting all.
Bonnie? Was that her name? Bonnie?
I think so. Yeah. She wanted to be involved.
Right. Yeah, no. And does anybody have good stories out of that? And obviously that marriage didn't last, but I feel like, Cornette's told stories, Flair's told stories. No, none of them end up where she comes out looking good. She just wanted to get.
Yeah. She seemed to like the spotlight a little bit.
And you see that sometimes with, spouses, and especially in this industry, but oof. Yeah. You see it in other ones too. You see it in the music industry. I just watched the Ken Burns country music documentary? It took me 3 weeks to watch because things are forever, but Hank Williams' wife did that. Yeah. There's sometimes the spouse just wants to get involved. It never seems to work out well.
With Ken Burns, you have to be invested.
Yeah. I like it's one of we were talking about it before. The documentaries just kind of sold me. It's one of those things that I'll put on when I'm gonna for the hour before you get ready for bed, and it takes you weeks to watch them because they're 9 episodes.
Yeah. You like the baseball one. The baseball one, I think, took me about a month.
Yeah. And then they added to it too. That was so good. That was the first one of his I ever watched when I was younger, and then again as adult. No, those are very, very entertaining for me, but it's not for everybody for sure, because it's a slow process. For my wife, that would be torture. She would just.
Yeah, but it's a baseball. If you like baseball and you like to know what, he does a great.
Oh
job.
no, absolutely. I would love a pro wrestling one from him, honestly. That would be the greatest thing. Just,
I don't know how much he.
I fully get that.
It'd be good, but
I know I wouldn't have. No, that his next one, I just saw a commercial for it. What is it? The Revolutionary War. That'll be the next one. So it'll be great, but it'll be 8. That'll be something. 8 episodes. I think it's coming out in the fall. Oh man.
You know what's interesting? I like to know what they still teach in school. Like social studies and stuff when I was growing up. I like to know if that stuff. We used to have to memorize the presidents in order.
You should have ran into Bob Backlund. You could have gotten an autograph if you had him on. Isn't that what he used to do for kids? Make him recite it all in order? Yeah. What did I remember?
Washington, Jefferson, Adams. I can't do it anymore.
No, you've got to it's like a rhythm that you have to get into with it. I've heard people, I was never the best with like memorization of that kind of thing. I have a great memory for certain things, but it's more of like situations and experiences. I did remember, the preamble to the Constitution. They made me remember. They made me memorize that.
We the people.
Some sort of grade school.
But the only reason I got to know that is because of Grammar House Rock, Schoolhouse Rock. We the people. Great. In order to form a more perfect union.
No, everybody loves. I feel like that's one of those things that's like multi-generation. I don't know about the kids these days as much, but I mean, even like my cousins and my cousins' kids that they all knew what it was. I don't know if the younger ones do still, but
conjunction junction.
The bill. Hey, it's a good way of learning how that stuff works as a kid.
Yeah,
it's a good way of getting it to commit to memory. Oh man.
You know what's interesting? I'm surprised it took this long is the fact that WWE is going to be moving their headquarters over to Las Vegas.
Are they? I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. Is it WWE or TKO? I mean, because they just opened that.
No, they're moving out of Connecticut.
They just opened that brand new building, like within the year.
But
what the hell? I mean,
but think about it. But Connecticut, I think is the third highest tax state in the United States. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, that would make sense with where it is in the north.
People can't afford to live there. Remember, Cornette's always talking about how much was just to live there.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no tax. Vegas, you know more about Vegas than me, but there's no certain tax out there.
No, there isn't. They don't have. I was just out there last weekend, or the weekend before, and with one of my best friends from. Like he was in high school. I just graduated, but we've been friends since then, and we're both in our 40s. So, I think they don't have a state income tax. It's one of them. They don't have. It's something with the state tax. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's an income tax. I don't think they have that.
Yeah, why not?
They don't have
property tax is super low.
No, that's why he moved up there when he did, because he was born and raised here, but he moved up there 7-8 years ago for that exact. Like it was just easier, and he's a paramedic. So if there's any place to be a paramedic, it's probably a good place to be is Las Vegas. Oh man, there's always some shit happening.
Okay, I'm not sure if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It says you're muted, but I can hear you. What happened?
Dude.
What's going on? Uh-oh.
Hang on, I'm gonna unplug my mic and plug it back in.
You're all good, buddy. You're good. We don't have anybody in here with us anyway, so I kind of thought that might happen with the holiday. I didn't think about that till probably about an hour ago. I'm like, oh shit, people are probably doing stuff and with families.
It's probably a good thing. I can't. Okay.
Like people that can actually like go outside right now. It's 108 degrees where I'm at. So.
Yeah.
Although there was a lot of fire. Oh, there you go. Now you're.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on.
I heard somebody posted on Twitter earlier that the DMs weren't working, and I had somebody just shout out to Marie Shadows. I asked her for a couple of tips on how to just make sure I'm doing the RSS feeds to get it on like Spotify and stuff to get our audio onto that, and she sent me some voice notes that worked initially, but then stopped and there was something with the DMs. So Twitter's being weird. It could, I swear there's always something goofy with it.
Yeah, keep changing your toes.
Absolutely. It's always fun. It just sucks if like DMing is the only way.
Just enough to get me aggravated to the point where I would.
Just enough to aggravate your what now? You cut out.
It gets me aggravated, then I start getting mad, then it just fixes itself for no reason.
Yeah, or he's just passing out. Yeah, because that's the other thing too. It's like, I can't fucking fix it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's going
on. I always get that from my mom with her phone when she's like, "Is there an issue?" I'm like, I'm not that tech savvy. I'm not as young and smart as you think. I can get some stuff and I can fix certain things, but I'm not that good. That's
with the phone. With the phone, it's just turn it off, turn it back on again, and hope for the best.
Just roll the dice.
That's it. That's all you can do.
Yeah, that's like I'm only so decent with technology. I mean, that's why our stuff looks good, and for me, I feel like it's great because I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's not like it's going to be super high quality.
That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, come on, we're not trying to be anything special. Like I said, we're conversationalists. That's where I feel like that's our niche in the world. That's a little bit different than what other people are doing. That's why people are like, oh, it's a great interview. I'm like, yeah, I don't really think it's an interview. Like we don't prepare questions, but I have some stuff, but it's more of a conversation, which I really like. I think some of those conversations have just been awesome. Like obviously the one with Marie, I still think about the one with Kevin Apollo. Like that was just awesome. He was on point. Like
a lot of people still like RJ.
No, I was talking about that cause I also reached out to Dose about, podcast stuff cause I know he's been doing it and people I trust and people that are smarter than I am. And yeah, that was one of the ones we were talking about too, was that conversation with RJ of just how they could go anywhere. Like we don't have to have it. Like, yes, wrestling is kind of like the linchpin, I guess, but it doesn't need to be. We can talk about other things and we can hold the conversation. And it's more fun that way.
Usually, yeah. 100%.
It
is more fun because people get relaxed.
Yes. Yeah. And then you can really just have fun with it and talk about anything. You never know if you're going to talk about random, actor funded movies with the Predator and Batman and stuff that I watched that on YouTube. It's very interesting.
The thing you don't want to do on an interview is get somebody in there and give a gotcha moment. You know what I mean? Then
there's none of that with what I would want to do at all. And I also, I don't want to just ask like this, like the reason I don't want to do questions as much is like, I don't want to ask like, so what got you into wrestling? You know what I mean? Sometimes it works out in the conversation and it's great because you're talking about it, but just those same basic, like if we ever like, knock on wood, eventually someday we'll get a wrestler on it, like there's standard wrestler questions that you can get into it in a conversation as opposed to just, what was your first match or what was your favorite match? Like, no,
that's why I like when people talk about when they go to a wrestling con or something. And the best conversations are usually like, so what's your favorite baseball team? Stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Cause then it's also too about who the person is. Like, that's, it's more interesting that way with it. And also too, I think we have a big thing. Cause one of my biggest things is I don't, like, even if we disagree, if I completely disagree with somebody on an opinion, like it's an opinion. I'm not going to be mad at them for having it. And you're wrong. You're wrong because you think this person, like you enjoy this person or don't enjoy that person. Yeah. It's more fun that way. And I feel like that's because unfortunately in today's society, people are just going to yell at each other and it's like a complete thing. Like, oh, you believe this? Well, everything you think is wrong. You're toasted. Same thing with like food choices. Like, oh my God, you put this on that. How could you? Like,
it's funny. Just pizza, conversation.
Yeah. But there's some people that take it way too.
Oh yeah. It's the same shit. No matter where you go.
Right. But I feel like that's one of the things we've set up a nice area where we can just talk and have an opinion. Is no one's gonna start yelling at anybody or calling people slurs.
So I don't want to toot my own horn here, but, if you listen to Cornette's, review of the Cena match from the pay-per-view, Night of Champions.
Which match?
The main event from Night of Champions.
I haven't listened to it yet. I know that,
it's going to sound really familiar.
Yeah, nice.
Like unless you obviously not, but he listened to us and then did his show.
Hey, Stacy does follow me. I'm just kidding. No, Stacy's awesome. But there was a couple of times when she was in the PWT chat and I made her laugh. And I feel like she went and made sure like I was a fun person to just follow me on Twitter. Cause that's the goal, is to make people laugh. No, that's awesome. Cause then you're on the right track with it. And
I was cracking up, dude. It really was.
That's great.
He's sitting there going, yeah, this match was great up until everything happened at the end. And I'm like, wait a minute, I just said that.
Yeah. right up until the point. And you were right. You absolutely were. That's, like for me, like I said, I wasn't as bothered by it because I kind of knew going into it. It was like, I didn't get to watch it live and stuff. And I also was trying to consume 6 hours in,
you got to catch up. You got to catch up mode.
You're right. But it's also cool. Like I whenever especially with somebody like Cornette, where he's not going to say, like, he's giving you his honest opinion. I know there's people that think it's a gimmick, but the whole reason it's not a gimmick, he's just giving his because
it's all true. It's all him.
So when you hear that, you're like, yeah, it matches up. You're like, all right, cool. At least I'm on the right track with what I'm working with here, what I'm thinking.
Said the same thing about the referee too, by the way. I got the kick out of that one.
Hey, I still stand by that.
That's just different. That's just different time periods. That's all.
Yeah. I still think though that there should be more referee. Like, yeah, just having it the fact that Robinson didn't come out until Seth came out, there was where that's where I was lost with it. Cause I'm just, John Cena hits me with a shoulder tackle. I'm not getting up. I'm down. Man down.
Yeah. Like both companies are guilty of that though. Honestly.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Oh no, they are.
They pick and choose like when security comes in, pick and choose when the referees stuff like that. They all do it.
Oh no, for sure. And I don't like that at any point of it because it does take away from it. Now, like I said, there's times with the security where I'm okay with it, like where it was Heyman's group. Like Heyman, because Heyman has something like, he's paid the security.
That's understandable.
That makes sense. The problem is, there's no rhyme or reason. It can happen with Heyman or not. And like, if it was with just Heyman, it would be cool to be a part of the story, kind of like he's the Don. He's got his fingers. He's got little fingers and everything. He's, got his fingers in all the pies. Yeah.
True.
But it's just,
he likes pie.
He does. It's very obvious. Hey, more power to him, dude. I appreciate it.
You know what? I got bad news for you.
Uh-oh.
You do realize we got to watch All In, right? We're going to watch. We're going to have to. Whether we watch it live or we got to watch it for the show. You have to.
Oh God. I know it's going to be so long. And it does. There's so many different stories.
I'll probably watch it, Sunday morning.
Yeah.
After it happens Saturday night.
Yeah, I need to be able to skip stuff and skip some of the entrances and stuff and be able to do
that. Because we're gonna be on probably earlier next week. So.
Right, because of Evolution. Right. And then the next weekend's TNA pay-per-view.
TNA.
No, because it's just looking at that card, I just get so annoyed because there's some stuff that could be good. It's just they got people in the wrong places. Like, why is it, like basically, if you just took Ospreay and Paige and just swapped them, like why is Paige should be teaming up with Swerve as like that reluctant team to take on the Bucks and take down the EVP stuff because and them teaming up makes more sense of like in that kind of way where it's like the Mega Powers where like reluctantly team up and Ospreay should be the one they're pushing to the moon. He's the big star, but
when I was watching it pretty consistently, Paige was the champ, and they had a thing going there, and they kind of blew it.
Yeah, with him, his build up to get the championship, I thought was done very well. Like it was one of those things where it made sense. Some stuff was kind of goofy with the drinking and stuff, but you kind of just accepted it. It was one of those things where I was accepting they were kind of goofy. That was where I was giving them credit. Like, hey, they're a 2 or 3-year-old company. Like, they're going to grow and they're figuring it out. Like, that's part of it. They're kind of like shaking off their indiness, but they never shook it actually off. But I swear, like, that made sense. Like, and the title win made sense. Like, that was the first pay-per-view of theirs I was like really invested in. And like, he had the entrance that was really cool with the horse going through Minnesota and
the horse in the background,
and like and they even involved the Dark Order, which was goofy but made sense because it was like your friends. And I always thought it would have been cool if like he became champion and then eventually turned heel on them and became a heel champion during it. But whatever, I don't know. But it just never worked. They just didn't. I don't know.
Yeah, they had a chance, and they went. I still don't think they're going to take the belt off.
I think you're right, and I
hope I'm wrong.
But do you do we really want? Is Paige going to be the guy? I mean, I don't know.
Short-term wise, I could see it.
When I look at the situation, and we've been saying this since before Double or Nothing. Like, why is it not just Samoa Joe or Bobby Lashley just no, we're done with your stupidness. We're done with your stupid group. Like, it should just be Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Syndicate. Just kicks the crap out of all of them. Bobby smashes them. Bobby's the champion. And then do the MJF stuff with that or something. I don't know.
That would work. I
also had a good plan of it with Samoa Joe doing it too. Like, I don't really care which one. Either of them gives your company so much more credibility as the champion. Like, people know they're a decently well enough known name. They look great, with the belt. They look like an actual wrestler, like, as opposed to a goofy bald plumber who walks like, I don't know. Like, they could do interviews too.
Dude, it was weird. It was weird having to see those two guys sell for Mike Bailey and the other dude that was in there with him.
Oh, what is it? Like Kevin.
They were selling those moves and it just looked, Kevin Knight.
Yeah, no, that's
it really
tough to watch.
Is.
Like, and I mean, I understand that there's like a following for Mike Bailey and people like him, but just there's gotta be like a cap. Like, he can't be doing that to those guys. Like, okay, if you want to have it like
the worst part about Mike Bailey for me was I never knew what he looked like.
I'd only heard about him.
Me
too.
Heard
he was short, but I thought, I don't know, the way I kind of was, I thought he was at least maybe like a stocky guy and like a good,
like a Jonathan Gresham type,
but not that short. Like, hit the height he is. But yeah, exactly. Just stock and like, they could do cool. And then you see him and you're like, what? And then he's just, got the goofy mouthpiece and the no shoes. Unless you're a Samoan, or from an island, I just never got the no shoes. That's one of those things in wrestling that's always bothered me. Cause if you're fighting me, I am just stomping on your big toe until you're limping.
Oh yeah.
Like, come on. Like, I get it for the guys that are from the islands and it's part of their like gimmick for that. Okay. But even that, like, even with Solo Sikoa is much better now with the shoes and the shin pad. Like, it's just better. It's better in boots.
So as I just saw the advertisement for Great American Bash, when did WWE switch from Sunday to Saturdays? Do you remember? Cause I don't. That's interesting.
I don't remember. I want to say it was sometime during the pandemic, maybe, or like at the end of it, like maybe during the Thunderdome and coming out of it. I have no idea. Let me see if I can Google. That's a good question. I don't know. Let's see here.
Because there used to be, I mean, WCW obviously was Sundays, so was WWE, and they all were Sunday nights, and it sucked because you didn't wake up the next morning.
And the only thing that was kind of cool was it got you like excited about Raw or Nitro the next day.
Right.
It's funny. I type in, when did WWE move? The first thing is to Netflix. The second one is PPV to Saturday. So obviously this is the question. Royal Rumble 2022 is what it says. So coming out of the pandemic, kind of. I mean, I guess. So I knew it was a while ago, and it does make a lot more sense. And especially, I feel like they did it knowing that eventually they were going to be doing a 2-night. Well, I mean, they knew it because they did the 2-night WrestleMania and they stuck to it. They kept that coming out of it, which does work. I mean, it really does make sense. I mean, they don't need to do it with every pay-per-view, but I think the Royal Rumble should be 2 nights.
The big four.
I mean, but is the big fourth one is Survivor Series? I mean, I get.
That's the thing.
Right,
I
feel like in the timeline that kind of works though, because you got, January, April, August, and then October, November. So it does kind of work in like the quarterly calendar situation. The only other one though, I would think of it that makes sense in the sense of the pay-per-view is Money in the Bank, because you're going to have 2 of those matches. Like that should make,
Yeah, see, those I wouldn't mind because like we talked about before, have one night be the men's Money and the next night be
and then you're also able to have more, like, you're also able to have more, because those were the last Money was the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. It was 5 matches because they added the match with Dom, but it was only, even still, I mean, you only have 3 other matches on the card because the Money in the Bank's going to take up time. It's not going to not, like, it's a part of that. It's just how it works.
It's interesting.
No, it's I obviously they're not moving it, the Royal Rumble, to 2 nights this upcoming one because that's going to be Saudi, but I feel like that's the last one-night Royal Rumble.
That's going to be interesting, seeing how that goes over.
Yeah.
I think it'll go over quite well,
It
actually.
Probably
personally.
will. I mean, like I said, from the whole thing, like, I'm not a big fan of the Saudi pay-per-views overall, but it's like we were talking about the technology. It's like, I can't control it. They're not going to stop. I'm just going to have to, you enjoy what you can. Like, at least you get your evening after the pay-per-view. You're not stuck watching it all day.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Wake up, have some lunch or breakfast in your case. And
yeah, actually that time of year for January, because Phoenix, we change our time zone. So like right now I'm in Pacific time, but from November to March, I'm in Mountain time. So it's 11 a.m.
Yeah,
for
you're
me.
only 1 hour
pretty
behind me.
That's a lot nicer.
I like it when you're 1 hour behind me instead of 2.
They keep talking about how, like, I keep hearing the daylight savings might ever go away, and there's like that's the debate here: is do we do Mountain time or Pacific time? Like, please keep us in Mountain time. I don't like Pacific. It's that 1 hour makes a difference, especially too, like for Raw starting. Like if I'm getting off work, usually you get off work around 5 o'clock, and with Raw starting at 6, it's nice. Like, all right, I get a minute, I can figure this out, as opposed to like, shit, I missed the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's how it works.
No, it's terrible. Or like if you want to watch the World Series and it's on a Wednesday and it starts at 7 Eastern, great, but that's 4 o'clock.
So I see that Classic Match is doing quite well on our YouTube. And what's our YouTube?
YouTube.com/@AltJakeTakesOn. Yeah, we're up to 235 subscribers. We're keep moving. Yeah, I swear I think those Classic Match reviews, I don't know if it's like people share them with somebody or like they get into some sort of because they start slow every time. And I'm always like, man, is this going to be the one? And then bang, like that one, it was like, it had like 12 views for the first like 48 hours or 24 to 48 hours. And then it was like 40 and then 50. Like, no, it's great. And I got the next one up. I'm ready to go. Do you want me to let you know now? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll write it down.
Yeah, so I wanted to go with something a little bit different just because, but Ray versus Eddie at Halloween Havoc 97. The match with the Phantom suit.
Ray versus Eddie. Halloween.
97. Yeah, that's the one where he's in the purple suit. Looks like the Phantom. And then that's gonna.
Oh yeah.
It's got a good story too, because he was supposed to lose his mask. And then he and Eddie begged the Bischoff to not, and then they made it part of the story with the match. And it's one of those things where it's like that's one of those matches where you should see like Eddie really putting Ray over. Like for both of them, it's probably in their top 5 matches that people think of.
No, you're the first one to go to a WCW match.
It's gotta be
Good for you.
It'll be fun. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was pretty high on my list, but after watching the technical masterpiece that we watched the last one, I was like, which one of these is the most? It was between that and then I got some other stuff with Brock and Kurt that I was looking at, but I was like, no, let's go with Eddie and Ray, especially because Ray's gonna retire soon, so let's give the man his due, because it's crazy.
Yeah,
when you think about that too, it's like that match was 1997 and he's still going. Good Lord.
He's phenomenal shape. It's amazing.
No, it really.
He's such a good dude too.
Gosh,
family, moral wise, and Dom picked up all of it.
No,
it's amazing to see a kid like that pick up all your dad's good traits.
Yeah. No, it's like the only time you hear people say anything bad about Dom is if they're kayfabing, because everybody loves that kid, which is another thing back to, we said it last week talking with Marie about like Dom's turn. It's like, you wanted to work out for him as a babyface, but it just wasn't. Nobody cared. You wanted to care. You did, but come on. But like the moment he kicked Edge in the nuts, from then on, he's been just a star. It's so great to see. It's great to see. Oh, hey, look, we got somebody requested to speak. What the?
I sent an invite. See if it worked.
We got a Herman. What's up, Herman? I think
did it work?
Herman's asked to speak, but I think he spoke on one of our last ones.
Yeah, I invited him.
What's up, buddy?
I did it myself.
all this talk about Rey Mysterio and the matches I always liked of his was all the matches that he did with ECW back in the 90s.
Oh man!
In fact, all those guys really tore it up. I mean, Conan, Psychosis, Juventud, La Parca.
That's where Bischoff saw it. You're absolutely right. Bischoff saw that and was like, "Hey, I got a bigger checkbook."
I thought it was Terry Taylor that saw it and reported back to Bischoff.
That could be. No, absolutely. You're probably right. You mean Terry Taylor? Known stooge Terry Taylor? Yeah, that sounds like him.
Yeah, PTSD Terry Taylor. Anytime he's near a farm and hears a rooster crowing, it sets him off. What's really bad about Terry Taylor, if you guys think about it, back in the late 80s, early 90s, about like 86, 87, back when he was in UWF and World Class, he was an ass kicker. And then, Vince got a hold of him and turned him into a goddamn rooster.
Yeah, he was the second match of the show I'm watching right now. This Beach Blast 92. He was the second match on here.
And I mean, that gimmick was just never gonna work out. But you could see it in his eyes when he's doing those promos. He's just dead behind the eyes, just like, why am I doing this? Give me more drugs.
What did we learn last week about the Red Rooster? What did we learn? Do you remember? Remember our lesson from last week?
I remember? Not specifically now.
Who was originally supposed to come out of the egg?
Undertaker. No, I didn't realize that was a lesson from him, from the Rooster. Yeah. Oh man, because that would have been. Could you imagine how bad that would have just? Man, that's one of those. What do they call it? The sliding doors moment, where if that did happen, I don't think Michelle.
They were worried about the kids. They were worried about the kids' reactions.
Would he have, so wait, instead of dancing with, would he have killed Mean Gene coming out of the egg?
Yeah, I don't know how that would have worked.
That's where it went. I mean, I guess if he'd have done that, like that would have at least maybe would have forgotten about the egg. No, that would have.
Nobody would have forgotten about the egg.
What was that?
Nobody would have forgotten about that egg.
Yeah, no, right. You can't. Like, it's just, especially with how long it was. Yeah, no, that was.
And then it all came full circle with Vince and his egg. Where's my egg? My $1 million egg.
That was just
man. And like the poor people that had to do that. It was almost like the old Rosebud situation. We just, here you go. Let's collectively make an ass of ourselves. Oh,
yeah. Didn't he make the value of the egg like some stupid amount? I said $1 million, but it wasn't even close to that.
I honestly want to see
he said a lot.
I'm 90% sure that actually happened. And that was.
Yes. Speaking of the Rosebuds, so look at all the people from the Rosebuds that became superstars, though.
Yeah, no, it's one of the, there's certain ones where it's like, there's like,
you had Braun Strowman.
4 of them are champions or world champions.
Yeah, you had Braun Strowman, Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, Elias, Simon Gotch. I can't remember. I don't think that Aiden English was a part of that. Even though it sounds like something he would
that did it like once, though. Like they were like randomly. But yeah, of the people you named there, Braun Strowman, Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, all former world champions.
Exactly.
That's crazy. Yeah, and that's you got to start somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Alexa Bliss, I have a picture of her signing an autograph for my kid during WrestleMania 33 during the pre-sale. And ever since that day, and this was all these years ago. He's 14 now. That's all he can think about is Alexa Bliss.
Yep.
Good for him. Yeah, I would too.
I would.
No, that's perfect. That stays in your mind. We talk about it all the time, how much these guys and women make an impression on kids. That's one perfect example.
No, it's and it's such a small thing that they did, like for them to do that makes such a massive difference. I mean, you even hear it from like the guy, the guy, from Dark Side of the Ring, Evan Husney. His dad worked something at a mall or something and was able to get him like a moment, like a little, like 5 minutes with Steve Austin. And like he asked him a question and about Goldberg and Steve gave him a great answer. And he's like, that kind of is what led me into being a documentary filmmaker and that kind of stuff. And like, I still think of it every time with Jey Uso and comes out with his entrance and that little kid that's with him, that face. Like, I don't have kids, but even that hits me in the feels of just like, that's awesome. Those kids are fans for life. That little girl the other week, just like, she could barely even move her arm. She was in such shock. That's just awesome. It's great what they do for those kids. And then you got fans for life. I mean, that's the next generation right there.
Yeah, I always like it when you get some people that'll break kayfabe, like when Tiffany Stratton first came up and she was a heel, but then they had the young woman that had to sign about beating cancer, and Tiffany was like, okay, screw the kayfabe. I'm going out there. I'm going to sign some stuff and give this kid some merch.
Right.
And, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, like, come on, we all get it. And there's certain things that are more important, and let's be real, like, this whole business is about the fans. If there aren't people in attendance, like, unless your dad's a billionaire who, invented the bumper, you're not going to have shows. Sorry, my bad. No, it's just like, that stuff's great to see. I mean, shoot, I was 22, I think, when John Cena shook my hand after a show. And from this, I still love the guy. I'm like, that was awesome. And he like singled me out because I was wearing a Red Sox hat in Arizona. He was like, that's awesome. Shook my hand and walked away. I'm like, that's, from.
Everyone's got their faults.
Sorry, man. My dad took me to Fenway. We didn't get a baseball team till
I'm kidding. I'm a Yankees fan. It's all good.
I'm just messing with you. No, I want to be a Diamondbacks fan, and I am to a point, but I was 17 when they showed up here. Decisions had been made. But yeah, like, everybody's got those fan interaction moments. I met Santino Marella once at over WrestleMania 26 weekend it was actually at a restaurant that Armando Estrada owned. I met both of them. Super nice guys, both of them. So I've always been a fan of both of them ever since.
They sound nothing like they did on television. That's the funny part.
Not at all. Not even a little bit. Like, they both did the voices for like a second, and then, they just talked. It was awesome. No, Santino was like genuinely nice. Like, asked questions about stuff. Like, what, like, you're going to WrestleMania, like, how long we've been fans. Like, I forget the stuff he asked us because I was just in shock. I'm like, he's actually talking to me. That's cool. Like, he's a real nice guy.
I know.
Yeah, once you get over the fact they're just normal people,
Right. Yeah.
For the most part.
That's one of the reasons why whenever I see the stuff that he gets to do through NXT with his daughter, like, I'm like, that's so cool. Like, for both of them and just in general, especially when you see the old videos of her with him backstage and you're like, nope, that's Ariana Grace. I always want to call her Ariana Grande. It's so terrible.
Yeah, I make that same mistake.
Yeah,
I'll tell you one thing right now.
It's why they do that. It makes sense.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing about Ariana Grace. She could throw down in the kitchen, though, because I was watching her Twitch feed one time, and it's like, holy shit. Like, she's cooking for like 50 people.
Well, I mean,
catering in NXT has to be good. Sounds like.
I'm sure. Oh, no,
I think catering's come a long way since the bologna sandwiches and stuff.
Yeah, like I know. I was at that video that Tony Storm did when she first came back and was doing the rookie stuff backstage. She was going through the AEW catering. I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, if you're paid, I can see why people hang out there. Like, hey, if you're gonna get paid, 6 to 7 figures a year, and you show up to shows and eat that catering, it's not the worst gig.
Yeah, if you remember the stories from like the old WWF days, the catering was skinless chicken breasts, noodles,
and there was salad with no dressing.
Salad, no dressing. Salad, no dressing.
I remember that now. Yeah, just a sad state of affairs.
Well, back in '95, they had it to a point where they had to take the water coolers out of the tower.
And we're talking like Attitude Era time when they were making money. That was the catering. I can't even imagine what it would. The catering, it's like the cheapest pizza they could get from somewhere. Yeah, I don't even know what it would have been in '95 when they were cutting people's pay, took out the water coolers. Yeah, people forget that. Until, they turned themselves around in 96, 97, oof, it was real bad.
Yeah, they had to keep track of their pencils.
Oh, yeah. They did. Yeah. That new generation's what screwed them up.
Oh, man.
You can't call something a new generation and have Bob Backlund out there. I'm sorry, and I love Bob. I love Bob Backlund. I thought that he and Vern Gagne could have put on a clinic if they ever got in the ring together. But in 1993, I don't want to see Bob Backlund in the top contender.
Right. There's a time and a place, and that was not. Yeah. No, that.
Especially that character of Bob Backlund that he was doing at the time. I was like, oh my goodness.
Not. Oof. Yeah, that was a.
Did Backlund and Gagne ever go one-on-one anywhere?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm thinking to my brain if they ever were on Saturday afternoon ESPN TV.
I mean, yeah, like where was
back in those?
You would have felt it would have been before Backlund went. Oh, yeah, I don't know when that would have been. Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh man, there. Yeah, and then like you had some great talent during that time, but when you literally just everybody has. You know, the job gimmicks, like even me as a kid, cause like I was telling George one of the times before, like I didn't get cable till 96, 97 in my house as a kid. So like when my wrestling watching was sporadic and it went from a point where like, this was cool and entertaining to watch to the time I'm seeing and I'm like, Duke the Dumpster, what? Who is this? What the fuck's going on here?
The Goon.
Yeah, yes, the hockey, yes. Abe Knuckleball Schwartz. What the fuck?
You know, the funny thing about the Goon, I met Bill Irwin. I used to work at a hotel in Pittsburgh, and he's in the architecture, which would have surprised the shit out of me. I had, you know, no clue. But yeah, we start bullshitting and stuff like that. And we were talking about, you know, AWA, when we were talking about the stint that he had in the Global Wrestling Federation in Texas. Because the one place I always wanted to go to, and I never did, was the Sportatorium.
Oh, that would have been awesome. Yeah.
Telling you.
Yeah, no, there's certain.
That's an interesting building, especially how they redid it after it burned.
Right, I was gonna say that there's almost like two different versions of it because of that. Yeah, man, yeah, there's that there's certain places in certain buildings that just like have that. Like, you can just walk in and feel the history. It's like, yeah, that would have been an amazing place to go to.
Who did? I'm trying to think. Name all the occupations.
Oh my gosh.
Dentist, garbage man, hockey player.
Plumber.
Plumber. John Moxley was there? Oh, no.
Tony Anthony.
Yeah.
Dirty white boy.
What was it?
You can't beat dirty white boy in WWF.
Yeah, I know.
Which is kind of a shame, because I'll tell you what, that was a hell of a character on that, in the territories.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, Smoky Mountain Wrestling, he was great. I forget when I realized, like, those were the same guy. Like, I think it was cause like, whenever I first watched Smoky Mountain Wrestling on YouTube forever ago, I don't think I was before I listened to Cornette's podcast, before I had a podcast. And like, my point where we realized, like, wait, is that guy no, but you know, I'm like, yeah, well, he's not coming to the ring to toilet sound. So, you know, it's a little bit more. So for occupation, what was Abe Knuckleball Schwartz? Like, was he because he wasn't a baseball player. Like, was he a baseball with the face paint? I never got that. We're talking about jobs. I didn't get that one.
I don't know what the deal behind, like, he was an evil baseball.
Oh, speaking of jobs, there was
Ghost?
a magician. Was it Fantasia for the one?
Fantasia, yeah.
Fantasia, yeah, Fantasia, yeah. That was another joke. Trying to think of
they screwed that up.
Oh, yeah.
They screwed that up because in USWA, he was the spellbinder, and he used to do weird shit. Like, he'd have a handkerchief in his hand, and then he would just pull on it, and a cane would appear, and he'd just smack the guy in the head with a cane, like, stuff like that.
I mean, it's a gimmick that should have worked. Like, it should work, like, you would think about it, like, especially like, I'm surprised it didn't work under Vince, honestly. Like, that shit seems right in his wheelhouse.
They should have had him as a heel. That's how it would have worked.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
That's, you know, there's certain gimmicks that when you think about it and you see it, they're like, that needs to be a heel. It's like right now when I'm watching, if I watch SmackDown and I see like the Wyatt Six, everybody hates the Wyatt Six. Turn them heel already.
Yeah.
Change their music up. Let them win the tag titles somehow. And once they win the tag titles, have them put the Freebird rule in where any two members can defend the titles.
Right.
That's how you get them to be heels, people. Yeah. It's simple.
Yeah, no, because I feel like that's kind of like, yeah, there's definitely been a turn on them. There's still people that like there's people that want to like him because of the Bray tribute. So you nailed it. Change the song.
Yeah,
you gotta change the song. Like there can still be the tribute, like as part of it or whatever, but it's just like, hey, we're succeeding for him. If we got to do it as heels, do it as heels. Yeah.
The tribute's just him being out there. That's good enough. Isn't that good enough?
I thought
for me, it would be. Just seeing him come out, that's a good tribute. I'm happy with it. Turn him heel.
Especially now because, like, if you're gonna push him, if you're gonna push them as like these horror monster villains, like you can't, like, you can't be babyface for that long with that. It just doesn't work after a certain point.
Especially with Joe Gacy, because Joe Gacy's a much better heel.
Yeah.
If you've looked at him at like Combat Zone and in NXT, his NXT theme slapped. I mean, damn, that was a good one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I always kind of liked him in NXT personally. I didn't mind it. And then Loomis just like with this like 1,000-yard stare, like that's just a bona fide. He's just your Michael Myers heel. You're sprinting and running away. He's walking at the same speed, but he's catching up to you. It works. It makes sense. And Rowan's just a monster.
Yeah,
it tracks. But maybe that's what they're gonna do with this. With whatever they're doing on SmackDown now, which is, for me, it's kind of like their last hurrah for it. Cause like, I want to give them a chance. And if they can work this out, turn it heel, great. But if not, yeah, I'm over it.
I'd say that
on a quick side note, when you get done today, look up 1992 Medusa. Oh my goodness.
Hello.
Medusa Michelli is one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, that's the bikini contest of the Beach Blast, and she's out there now, and man, she's a good looking woman.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to say anything else besides that.
No, I tell you, my favorite time was when she was AWA Women's Champion, and they used to have those posters in those after mags. Had one of her in a nice leather mini skirt outfit on a Harley. I'm like, yes.
Hello.
I need that there. That woman's a badass.
Yeah, she's tough and she can work
she was
too.
A great worker. But she's technically of that like Minnesota crew, isn't she? Like all the guys that come out, and none of them are bad workers. They all kick the shit out of you. They're all great workers, and they can pull the punches when they needed to for the work, but they can also not and kick the shit out of you.
Damn right.
Every single one of them. Yeah, never mind the fact that they were all, houses. Good Lord.
Oh, look at Jim Ross's Messiah come out. Nice. Oh my goodness. Okay, awesome.
That's an interesting turn. When he said that,
the fact
that it wasn't denied, like it was one of those things of like, oh, that's good for Jim.
Yeah, I get it. That's fine.
Good for him. He's enjoying his existence, and I'm sure Tony Khan's money, is a lot. That's all I got. Good for him.
Yeah. The thing with Tony Khan, I said this before, super nice guy, but I think he just gets used and taken advantage of by a lot of roster.
Absolutely. That's the thing. That's why from the beginning, he wanted and needed to be the booker, but if he could have just stepped back and been like, I'll be the promoter, let somebody else book, like every great booker has ever done in their lives, they sit under the learning tree. Get somebody, and I don't know who it could have been back then. There probably could have been at least somebody. At least try and learn how to do this as opposed to just being like, no, I get to be in charge. This is my company. I'm booking. I'm writing the TV. And that's why it's the same as it's always been.
Yeah, and we get Blake Christian doing the tightrope walk for 30 seconds.
Oh, God. Anytime I see a clip and a clock comes up, it's just like, oh, shit.
And what was funny was Ricky Starks pulled that shit his first night in NXT. I don't think he's pulled it ever since.
Right? Yeah, like it's fun. Yeah, no, yeah. Because they learn. And there's people there that actually are willing to coach and listen, and they listen to the people that are there to coach them. Shocking.
Well, HBK probably saw that and probably shit his pants. Like, what the fuck is this thing doing? We just see it now.
With this cross.
Yeah, I'm sure Sean's got a lot of good lessons to teach. I'm sure. I'm sure about it.
And then all the people, the legends or whatever that come through the PC and give their coaching sessions and stuff. And never mind the coaches that are there permanently, like Terry Taylor or Norman Smiley and stuff. You hear just such great things about him. I mean, Joe Hendry's put over Terry Taylor as like pretty much every interview I hear him talk about where they ask him about how the PC or the WWE stuff has been going with him, because he's there as often as he wants to get training from professionals, and they actually listen and want to be coached. And
is Taylor one of the most tenured WWE employees besides Michael Hayes?
How about Bruce?
I was gonna say Bruce was the other one.
Oh, Bruce was on. Bruce is on and off though.
Yeah.
Bruce has
that kind of situation.
Not a consecutive streak.
So Terry, because Terry went to TNA for a while. I know that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because Cornette talks about.
Oh
that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because Cornette just talked about it on this
with the,
show.
With the agent reports. Oh my god.
Yeah, with the reviews.
Man, those were great. I hadn't thought about some of those wrestlers or some of that time in a long, long time. But oof, man,
It's amazing. It's amazing how big of a push they were trying to give Matt Morgan.
Yeah, no.
At the time, I forgot about it because I used to watch him a lot, and I forgot about the push that Morgan was getting, and then all of a sudden where'd it go?
I mean, how could you not? Morgan was, I mean, he literally was, I mean, what they call him, the blueprint for a reason. I mean, look at the guy. That's why it never made sense to me of like the stuttering gimmick that they gave him in WWE of like, look at him. Like, don't cut the legs out from under a guy like that. I mean, he's an actual monster who's, educated and can talk. And did I mention he's a monster?
Is he officially 6'8"?
What was that search?
It's like Nick Dinsmore. They bring him up as Eugene. It's like, what?
I was talking about oh my God. Like, that's literal.
That hurt my feelings.
That's Red Rooster territory right there.
No, it's just, I was taking a drink and you beat me to it, but that was exactly what I was going with. I'm like, man, talk about it's the same exact thing as the Red Rooster of just like completely handcuffing you, that even if you get that over and get through that, like you're never going to get that far with it. Like that's never going to be someone who's going to be a champion unless you have a complete revamp of somehow through it or whatever. But no, the only way Eugene could have ever worked would have been if it was like at one point he comes out, it's like, haha, I was tricking all of you, I was being an asshole, you know what I mean? Like that kind of situation. But even that would have been, I mean,
that was tough. That was actually tough for me to watch.
Bad. It was really, the only parts of it that were sometimes like were watchable sometimes was the stuff with Regal, but that's just because Regal can make, like, that's what he does. Regal can make anything better. Like, he's just one of those people, like, he puts his all out, but even that stuff, like, if that was the best, it was still really bad. But,
Well, Regal.
Dude, when Matt Morgan wrestled for TNA, it was 6'10", 309.
Yeah, back to what I was saying before. Monster. God, he was huge. Absolute. Yeah. That's why I always kind of laugh at like what he does now, where he's like, on like, PTA boards and part of like local governments and things. You just imagine some of those people at those meetings and this guy walks in and you're like, in hell. Well, whatever.
Yeah, he's still in real good shape.
He says goes. Oh shit, Sam's here. What's up, Sam? Let me prove Sam. There's one of our regulars. Yeah. Sam was out with his family before. He sent me a message and I was like, dude, go enjoy it.
Sam he's up in the higher hills in the cabin. Too good for us normal people down here.
Dude, it's been 3 years since I've been up here.
Hey, enjoy it, man.
It's where you take all your secret area and stuff.
Hey,
I know how this works.
Enjoy it, buddy. Oh man, no, but Matt Morgan though, God, I'd forgotten about that too in TNA, where they really like, why did it stop? Like, what happened with that? Like,
I don't remember. I don't remember why.
The same stuff, because I mean, like,
you're sorry, I jumped in. Hogan, you're right. Hogan showed up.
That's exactly. God damn it, son of a bitch. Because I was gonna say it was partially. I was thinking it was gonna be because the whole thing as Cornette was talking was that once like he was about to leave, like that's why he left, and it never worked out for Hernandez and stuff. And I kind of just figured Morgan was in that, and he was probably, but Hogan, yeah. Hogan and Bischoff showing
Once
up.
Hogan got there, Morgan's push was done.
He just comes in like the fucking Deus Ex Machina and just It's all over. We're fucking everything up. Ugh.
Didn't work for him,
when
brother.
I stopped watching TNA. Like, I gave up. Like, Hogan and Bischoff showing up on TNA was like, that was when I was out. I'm like, I'm done. I don't care anymore. I don't want to see this. I didn't want to see it then, and nobody wants to see their little wrestling promotion now.
Six-sided ring.
Yeah. No, the six-sided ring, I thought, yeah, I mean, it wasn't great for the wrestlers. Everybody talks about that, but it is what made them different, and it was what made them, it caught your eye when you flipped through the channels back when people flipped through the channels, and yeah, that was like the first thing Hogan and Bischoff got rid of.
Yeah, and what's really cool about that was when they had that lockdown pay-per-view and Elix Skipper did that tightrope walk and hit that
the Hurricane Rock, yeah. That's one of
it's up there with me for like Hogan body slamming Andre. It's like something that I can never forget.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things too that like no matter what, if you're going to show a video package of the highlights of TNA, that's making it every single time. Like that is one of those just incredible. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, I got a question for everybody here. Do you think AJ Styles goes back to TNA for one last time?
Back there
one last time?
Excuse me. AEW. People are like, oh, he's going to go over there.
Well, he's not going to AEW.
Thank you. We've been saying that from the beginning, but there's people that think that he will just because people are like, oh, he's going to go work with his friends. Like, you think he really wants to go work in front of nobody for no reason when he's got all this great tenure with WWE? And yeah, with the TNA partnership, I do think whether it's, because they have a Hall of Fame. So if he like goes into their Hall of Fame and does something, or maybe after the pay-per-view and either Hendry or Santana win the belt, maybe then he shows up and then he gets to, helps solidify.
What do you guys think?
Run.
Yeah, I would like to see him get another run in TNA. Like, just to kind of put a, top off his career and get a full circle moment.
Plus he gets to TNA's trying to get themselves, they're bettering themselves. Clearly they're trying to improve and stuff. And he's a great name to throw on a pay-per-view. Like I said, a pay-per-view main event. If that's like the first title defense for Mike Santana, like that'd be awesome.
When's the TNA show in California?
I don't know.
Cause this is the Slammiversary is in New York, obviously next week, but they announced two shows. They announced New York and Los Angeles.
Let's see if hang on.
So if the Los Angeles show is, they could put him on that one.
Good point. And TNA.
I don't know when it is though. I'm not looking right now.
Nope. Let's see if I can. I
think appearances, like some cameos, but I'm gonna say something, and I might be the only person that believes this. But I believe that when Dominic and AJ have the match for the Intercontinental title, Finn and McDonough are going to turn on Dom.
Ooh.
And they're gonna align with AJ. The past history there with Finn and AJ. I mean, I think that's how you gotta go. Maybe you set up like a story.
So who ends up good guy, bad guy?
Oh, AJ's turning heel.
Yeah, I would say that would make Dom the baby.
I'm just asking. I'm asking your opinion.
If they attack Dom's the baby face. Also, the TNA pay-per-view, it already happened. It was Rebellion in April. But that's why they had the NXT. They had a lot of NXT talent on the card. So yeah, it's where Joe Hendry defended the title against Ethan Page. Yeah.
Okay.
No. But good thought though. I'm with you on that. I like where your head's at with it. But yeah, no, I could see, which actually would work if AJ turns, because if Mike Santana or Joe Hendry wins the belt, they're going to be the babyface. AJ comes in more as the name. He could be the heel, helps put them over. Like this is all making sense to me. This all clicks. And I would watch all of it.
There's no way in my mind that Santana walks out of there without that belt.
No, you said it. You've been saying that since before
way back.
The match was even announced, and then it was announced with Hendry in it. Yeah. And we're still with it, and look, he got himself in the match. No, I'm with you, dude. No, that's if and when he wins that title at that pay-per-view, that is George's home run of the year. He called that shit way long ago. Saw it happen. Knew it was in. I gave you credit for that. Just the fact that he got in the match.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
I was worried.
Hey, you never let it know. It's one of the things like, no, we're good. We're good. Like that meme where you're on the fire. It's all still good. Nah, hey. It makes the most sense because it's not going to hurt Joe Hendry if he doesn't win. Plus,
No, plus he's almost done.
I had always thought his contract was ending at the end of the year, but apparently it's at the end of September or sometime in September or sometime around there. So, yeah, he doesn't need it. Mike Santana needs to be like the guy. So it would just make sense. And if his first defense, maybe his first defense could be against Hendry, second against AJ or whatever. But yeah, I would feel like AJ being the heel going up against the babyface Santana, that would work for me. And him as well. I was sitting, man, good for Mike Santana. Like, there's the difference between him and his partner, who's just sitting there collecting Tony's money on the couch, which I'm sure is great. But look where Santana's career is. That's way more important, in my opinion.
I'll never understand why Tony just keeps people sitting. To me, if they don't want to work for you, fire their ass.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean,
don't put 90-day no compete. Just
like, what does it make a difference? He's so focused on this imaginary war with WWE that's actually made them actually wake. That wasn't going to happen. That wasn't there until he poked the bear enough, and they woke up, and they just keep slapping him away. Like, go away, smack. Go away. And he feels like, oh no, I can't let these wrestlers go over there. It's not going to make a difference. You're already getting squashed.
Do you think it's that deep? Or do you think it's just, I'm thinking on the fly here, Jake, so bear with me for a second. I'm wondering if he just he has got so many people, he might not remember everybody he's got, which is possible, but I'm just wondering if he just loses track of people in his things, because they come and go, they'll be on TV for 2 weeks and disappear for 2 weeks. It's just weird. I don't understand.
You might be absolutely right. No, remember, because that's the story of Iron Sheik in WCW, where he signed for like $100,000. Yeah, and then he wrestled. They were like, "You're terrible." They sent him home. They forgot that his contract was going to set to auto renew, and it renewed. So they tried to bring him back to do, and he still sucked. So they sent him away again. You know. I don't know. You know, it's one of those things, like, with how much he has going on with the soccer team, whatever he does for Jacksonville, for the stuff that whatever he's doing with this, like, he's got too much in the air.
He is busy.
Too much. Yeah.
He is busy. Yeah.
No, I could easily see, because I mean, he's probably forgotten about players on the team. I could easily see that being a thing. I didn't think about that, but you might. I mean, I'm sure it's probably with how many people that there are that he's just paying to sit home. I'm sure it's a little bit of everything. There's some people that he's like, wait, we still have them under contract? I forgot. And like, for some of those people, especially if you're a little bit older or have some injuries, right?
Yeah, just keep quiet and keep the check coming.
I would just, no tweeting, don't have a podcast, don't get interviewed, don't do anything, and he will just pay you.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, check every 2 weeks and you're not being used, you're not going to say anything. Suppose you're like me. I have a little bit of training. I've done some stuff. I'm under contract. I'm not going to go.
Yeah, no, unless you're one of the people that, like, you feel like, hey, like, if you're like Wardlow or something,
this is my life.
Chance, I gotta go.
Right.
Yeah, no. And there's so many people that are under that contract that maybe even if they're younger, they're like, screw it. I'll take, because they're not going to they know they're not going to make it to WWE. Or if they make it to WWE, they're not going to make near what they're making now. Just rake it in, collect it, get a good savings account, get some smart investments, let your money work for itself, and just sit there. Yeah, whatever you got to do, because if he's going to keep paying you, take it.
Yeah, there's also the misconception that he's got all these people under contract. Like, there's a bunch of people that are just under pay per appearance.
Yeah, so, we find that out more.
Yeah. That sucks for those guys.
Well, I mean, at least Scorpio Sky showed up after, like,
I saw it. I haven't seen a highlight of it, but I saw someone posted like, Scorpio Sky's alive. He's not dead. Good for him.
Ooh. Which probably makes him feel great, by the way.
But what's he done? I mean, has he even done indies, like, at all? I have no idea what happened. I knew he got injured.
That means he's under contract. If he's done no indie work at all.
He was one of the ones that was like, who for a good portion of time was heavily featured on their shows.
Yeah, with Frankie Kazarian, right?
With Ethan Page and God, was the other guy? The guy who isn't Don Callis, but with the hair.
Mark Sterling.
No, not him. The fighting, the guy. Shit. He was like the MMA guy.
Oh, the guy.
The older guy.
I
forget his name.
Parker Bordeaux?
No.
No.
Dan Lambert.
Dan Lambert, thank you.
Yes,
that is who it was. The one that where Brandy's like, "You're a black belt." Well, I'm a black bitch. That's the best.
Oh my
second
God.
best promo ever. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, because it was him. They were like the MMA group. It was him, Ethan Page, and Scorpio Sky for a while, and then that fizzled out. And Ethan Page was like, "Get me the hell out of here." Dan Lambert was left, and Scorpio Sky was
Before that, Scorpio Sky was featured.
They were the first. They were tag team champs at one point. The SCU. Yeah,
I think you're right. Yes,
Chris Daniels was in the group too. It was Daniels, Kazarian, and
yes.
Yeah, they were all.
Yes.
Cool.
God, that was forever. It was only like 4 years ago, but it literally seems like a decade ago. Jesus.
So 29. That feels like 30 years ago.
Right. It really does.
It's just.
So why didn't they just let Joe and the Death Riders like they should have? I still don't understand.
We don't know. We were talking about it before you came on here. It was either Joe or Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Syndicate. Like, just have them kill. Like, you got enough people to match people up. Like, it's fine. Like, Shelton can take out Claudio. Like, just figure it out. Like, why the Death Riders are still a thing. And it's so bad, but Tony will still go on television and say that it's doing great, that we're doing great creatively, that we're having the best year in forever. Like, no, you're not. We can all see it.
They're getting something. They're getting information from somewhere, and I think he believes it.
Yeah. No,
I don't know. I don't understand it, but he's not. I mean,
right? Like, you could see, he believes it.
He's not lying. He's not lying with the intent of lying. He believes what he's saying.
Well, it's like, how many characters do you have to ruin to keep this faction alive? It's very much like TNA with Aces and Eights, where it's just like,
yeah, or very much like the women's division in Mercedes. He has no problem just feeding his roster to whatever he's thinks is working. Just feeding people. Just, here you go. Like where has Megan Bain been since? Just gone. Like, he just feeds people to, it's just, and that's where the more I think about it, George, the more I think you're probably fucking right. Like, he's like, who do we got on our roster? Deanna what? Oh, I forgot about Deanna Purrazzo. No shit.
He'll get super focused on a certain feud, which is fine. That's okay. I can live with that. But then you kind of you put somebody on the shelf for a couple weeks, and they bring them back for 2 months, then they go back. It's like it's the same formula. It's just weird.
Rinse and fucking repeat. Exactly. No, you're right. It's and that's where it's like the people, and I get it that there's people that are absolutely hardcore fans of the promotion and stuff, but the fact that they cannot realize and like understand, they admit it, like, hey, this needs to get better. Like, cause he's just patting Tony's back. Like, yeah, everything's great, boss. Things are great. I'm sure he's got himself bubbled online to where he's got everybody muted he doesn't want to hear from. And yeah, everything's great. This is the best shows ever with 590,000 viewers. Like, come on. I don't care what you say. We all know nobody's watching on Max.
Well, and it's like my thing is, it's like, it's not like you don't have people in that company who I truly do think are creative and have the ability to do
absolutely
things, especially with the experience that they have. But instead, you just completely handcuff them, and it's like,
or Sam, they just throw in the towel and they said, fuck it.
Oh, you can see it when it happens too. Like, Edge is the prime example.
You can tell if you're Sam, if you're talking to me about advice, you're giving me advice on something and I don't listen to you. How long are you going to take it before you just don't even bother anymore and just say, fuck it, I'm out?
Well, just imagine being Mariah and like this one person comes in and just starts bulldozing through the whole division, and it's like, well, I don't want to be a victim of her.
Right? Yeah.
Why?
I'm not just going to be another meal. No, I mean, look at. No, yeah. like George is definitely right about the people giving up. Look at Edge. Like you said, when Edge first showed up, he was trying to get involved with whatever he could with story. Then there's just certain point where you can just see it, and it's always the eyes. Like no matter what he says, like he comes running out and doing his little stuff because he loves his song, but you can see he's just like, there's nothing. Like, we're not getting better. My ideas aren't being listened to. We're getting pushed around by this. Like, this is just stupid. You know, and like, there's either people like that, or you have the other side of like FTR that's just like blindly like drinking the Kool-Aid. Like, yeah, things are great. It's awesome, man. This is the best ever. You don't like it? Fuck you. You suck. Don't watch wrestling. Like, just, yeah.
Oh my gosh. And by the way, I'm such a poor man. Here is my extremely expensive tequila collection. Dax, you douche.
I feel bad for this fucking guy, man. They have lost all their credibility.
Dude, I mean, I'm just one person, but they were my favorite thing in wrestling from 2020 to 2020. I want to say the summer of 22 or maybe 23. Is it 22 or 23? Whenever I went to San Diego, and like I made a response back about a thing that Dax posted about Sean Ross Sapp, and like just joking, and Dax, Sapp, and Cash all attacked me for it. And it was like, okay, that's weird. And from that point, their entire careers have just been complete shit. And now nobody cares about them. Like, one of those things where people say like, oh, their fall off shit or their downfall should be studied. Like, I hate that cliche. Their downfall should actually be fucking studied, because what the hell? They were so cool. They were so awesome. They were so fun. They put on some of the best matches anybody's ever seen. And now
they started when the Raw shit happened.
And they just kept doing it, you know? Well, and I feel like they made that decision where, you know, they re-signed their contract when it looked like Vince was coming back to sell the company, but then he just sold the company and left. And I think they signed 5-year deals, and they regret it. Because if they had just waited, they could have went back and signed to Triple H and been tag champions and possibly even main evented at WrestleMania, because Triple H has shown that he will put a tag match at the main event WrestleMania. But whoops-a-doodle. Oh shit, Rabbit's here. What's up, Rabbit? Let me approve you. What's up, Rabbit? How you doing, buddy? Hope everybody had a good holiday too, by the way. I don't know if anybody did anything crazy for the 4th of July. I stayed inside. It's very, very hot where I am. But I live.
I also looked out my window.
I live literally like maybe 2 blocks from like the Phoenix Country Club, and they put on an amazing fireworks show that literally I can just like see from outside my window, or if I want to see the whole thing, walk about half a block down to the edge of my street. So I didn't this weekend though, because it was 109 degrees, and my cat's not a big fan of fireworks, so I was hanging out with him. What's up, Rabbit? How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. I want to say hi to everybody. Okay, say what's up, everybody.
Awesome, man. We're happy to have you here.
Yeah,
no, we're just kind of bullshitting today. We got no agenda, no topics. We're just kind of BSing. It's having fun though. I love. Yeah,
it's freestyle.
This is great. No, it's kind of where I've labeled I've labeled myself as a pro wrestling conversationalist. I'm happy to talk about anything.
Okay. Awesome. U.S. lost to Mexico in soccer 2-1.
In the Gold Cup though, like whatever. Yeah, I'm not a big goal. Here's the thing.
Sorry, Rabbit, I took you off guard there. I apologize.
International soccer has its great moments, and there are some countries that really invest in their national teams and know how to run them correctly. We are not one of them. The U.S. men's, that from top to bottom, the entire federation is just run like shit. They're just run to make money as opposed to finding the best people to actually play the game. And like there's no reason we shouldn't be competing for a World Cup with how much athletic talent we have in this country, but it's a pay-to-play sport. So, like, I will root for us when I watch us. I've been to games at the football stadium here as recently as 2 years ago, and I will watch the World Cup next year, but I hate how U.S. soccer is run. It's sad. Because we could be so damn good.
All right, Rabbit, back to you, sir.
Oh yeah. Well, I may ask a question about the U.S. soccer. when they're doing the cup, like the Gold Cup, like right now. I want to watch it, but everything's going on in this country pretty much ruined that game for me.
Yeah, no, I could get that.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Didn't think about that.
Nope, I don't blame you one little bit. And it's also one of those things too where there's just no, they're invested in the right way. Like I remember back when, in the early 2000s, I feel like maybe in the late 90s where it was, and I forget, like, where like the slogan was like one nation, one team, or like one team together, but the slogan was in Spanish on purpose. Like, to really involve more people and bring more people into the, and it's just, there's so much they could do right and they don't. And we're paying for it as a country within it, and we're a laughing stock around the rest of the world. And it sucks because it's a great sport and we could be really enjoyable at it, but yeah.
Actually, for me personally, I think maybe I think in my theory is I think people in the United States do not care about soccer. I think just no one know. I think I have one friend who doesn't know we have a U.S. soccer team.
No, well, and you're absolutely right, but there is a large contingent of people in this country now that care. Just look at, the example I can think of is the English Premier teams that have official supporters clubs all across the country. That like for me, I'm part of for the Tottenham Man United Europa League final game. We had over 400 people at our pub on a Wednesday afternoon at 11:30 to watch game. There are people that can care.
Hey, Jake.
What's up?
Here's your thing. I'm going to interrupt you real quick and make a point, then I'll let you continue. In this country, the sport of this is my opinion. The sport's a little slower, tough to pick up on, which is fine. I can deal with that because I watch golf. Okay. But there's no place to watch.
That's what I was getting into. No, and all
you've
done is just push my plate. Thank you. That actually helps me go forward with it because the reason that we have these investments is because the people that support the clubs take the time. Like our pub, will open up early for games. There's stuff on the walls for it. There's specials involving around the team. They make it fun. They make it a part of it. They make you want to watch it. With international games, there's not as much. Obviously, if you're watching a league team, they're going to play, they play, 38 games in a season. It's a long season. There's also other cups and stuff. International teams are probably going to pay 7 to 10 times a year, but make it important, make them care about it, make it something that's an event. And, U.S. soccer could invest in these partnerships with pubs in major cities that could have fans and bring people into it. They half-ass it every year for the World Cup is what they kind of do. And then they forget about it. And it's no, there's stuff every single year. What also sucks is that we, in Europe, they have the World Cup obviously every 4 years, but every, the other 4 years. So basically every 2 years, they have a major tournament. They have what they call the Euros, which is all the countries in Europe doing a World Cup style tournament. We don't really have that here. Again, where there's more investment and more reasons to get behind it. And, you're right, George. It'll never, without the right reasons and the right people behind it to enjoy it, doesn't matter what the sport is, because the sport is a lot of fun and can be up tempo and enjoyable.
Yeah, I know. I understand that. I mock it. I mock it and everything, but I understand everything.
Right, but it's just but it's not, it's to tie it back into wrestling, it's all about the presentation. It really is. Yeah.
Who knew there was a game tonight?
I knew because I follow it I follow the US on my app. But I could have easily had it on my TV and I was just yeah, whatever. It's
actually, to be honest, I thought the game was yesterday.
That's fair. That is totally fair. Because again, there's not enough behind it. If they presented it well, as something important, something that people care about, but it's not. And it never probably will.
It's probably on Fox Sports 1 too.
Something like that.
Probably Fox Sports 1 or 2. Yeah.
Right.
That's another thing. No one's got this.
Exactly. Shit. Yeah, no, like I said, they half-ass invest it every 4 years for the World Cup, and it's just not enough. And there's definitely there's an audience here for it, but they just don't. And they probably never will, because again, the top people in the U.S. Soccer Federation, they make their money. They get big time paychecks, and you know, the things look good for them. Like they make great money on ticket sales or whatever, but you know, they don't really reinvest it in the team. It's like a lot of sports owners, honestly.
Here you're hampered by football and
basketball
and baseball. I mean, that's
but there's still enough athletes in the world that they definitely could make it work, but they don't.
Oh yeah.
They
100%.
And like, you know, and the local league, I mean, the MLS, it's better than it was, but it's still nothing in comparison to the rest of the world.
I tried watching an MLS game the other day. I was like, what was my problem?
Especially me, as somebody who spends a lot of time watching the English Premier League, which is the #1 league in the world. It's like watching Major League Baseball versus like bad high school teams. You know, you're not even AAA. It is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
It's like watching compared to the Savannah Bananas.
At least they're flying.
I was just, dude, how the fuck did you understand what I was going to say?
Hey, at least they're having a good time.
I was going to ask anybody if they watched the Savannah game against the Firemen the other day, and I was like, what the hell? That's exactly what was coming out of my mouth next.
I did not, but I've seen that. I follow them on a lot of social medias because they got really good social media videos. They actually make baseball work in social media form, which is surprising, but.
You have to really know the rules of that game, boy. A foul ball goes into the crowd, the guy catches it, you're out.
So, the Savannah.
Oh, hang on, one at a time.
The Savannah Bananas, like the baseball version of the Harlem Go Drivers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're different in the sense, but that's the easiest description of it, which is literally what I was about to say. So I was gonna say for the folks who don't know, it's perfect. No, I didn't know much about them till like 2 or 3 years ago. Again, from social media, I was like, the fuck is this? And I think it was actually because they had John Cena, like, because they'll have celebrities involved. And they had John Cena throw the first pitch or something.
They had the kid from the Sandlot on yesterday.
That's great.
The catcher.
Right.
Big Bambino, whatever his name is.
Big redheaded kid. That kid. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah.
Looks exactly the same.
I saw him interviewed. I saw him on the Rich Eisen show not that long ago because the interview was basically all about the Sandlot. And it was great nostalgia.
I heard about the Bananas, but what's the girl's name again? Winston Sinclair from NXT. That's the first time I heard about the Bananas.
Ren Sinclair. Yeah.
Yeah,
which actually,
Ren Sinclair.
It's interesting. It's interesting, Rabbit, because they play music throughout the whole game. Everyone's in short sleeves, cut off sleeves. Like they have yesterday was like the fastest pitcher. He pitches like an inning in about 6 minutes. He just fires the ball after ball. And if the foul ball goes into the crowd and someone catches it, the batter's out. There's all sorts of cool shit going on. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's like, it's like minor league baseball mixed with like, the Harlem Globetrotters and just a fun experience. And they draw very well. They just recently sold out at like a football stadium or something, didn't they?
They sold out Fenway last night. Was that the game? Okay. Yeah, that was the game I watched on YouTube.
And I mean, in Fenway is like 35,000 people, which is a lot, but I've seen sometime this summer, maybe it hasn't happened yet, but they just sold out. They like an actual like NFL size stadium. They sold the fucker out. So they're doing something right.
Wow.
Hell yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's a fun time. And it's one of those things too that they're smart enough. Like it's a traveling thing because it's not something that you'd go to every single night.
Just
like
the Globetrotters.
Exactly. Like going to a concert. Like, all right, we're going to go to this will be fun and from what I've seen, they're very family friendly. It's an affordable ticket. Like they're not trying to do anything super crazy. And not everybody on the team, but a lot of the players are people that are like, almost made it to like Major League Baseball or like just recently got cut from the minors.
Yeah. They're all at least AAA guys. They're all at least
so they've got they got actual talent with them too. But yeah, it seems enjoyable. I haven't watched a ton of it yet, but it seems like it's a fun time.
So it's actually called the Banana Ball World Tour.
That makes sense.
So
actually, I want to see the Bananas play the like this year's World Series champions to see how that game.
That'd be fun.
Play like.
So
no, they're not that good.
Yeah, but if you did it with some sillier rules and like kind of like figure like Like, okay, so let's say when the bananas hit.
Yeah, Major League Baseball Union never go for
sure.
that.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, God, the union. That's a good point. No, that's a good point. But if they were going to do it, they could change the rules to where, like, only if the major league players hit a foul ball and it's caught, it's an out. Things like that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It is a exercise in futility because the players' union in that sport is tight. They are not budging on anything.
To put a button on the banana thing. Tickets start at $35, and the highest ticket you can ever buy is $125 for the premium experience. So that they're capped at $125 a ticket.
And you said premium experience,
depending on where they're going, of course. If they're in Yankee Stadium, different story.
Well, yeah, in the experience too. I'm sure they do stuff with like fans where they can be part of like batting practice or so whatever else. Like I've seen a lot of footage of stuff that they do. Again, back to what we were saying earlier, stuff with kids, get them involved because if you don't have if you don't have them involved, you're not going to have fans in 10, 20 years. So you need to invest in the youths, the two youths.
Well, that part is true. Because, like a couple months ago, I went to the AEW Dynamite Live in my hometown.
Yeah.
All I saw is like about a total of 5 kids.
Oh man, I am not surprised. I mean, I went to an AEW show in early 2022 and it was all adults and it was mostly white dudes from the age of like 25 to 60. There was just not that much. And I mean, this was back when they were still doing, I mean, this was at the arena that the Suns play at and they didn't have the upper level sold at all, but the entire bottom row or the bottom area was full. Like this was back when this was actually the last show they drew 1 million viewers at actually. So they were still doing decently enough, but they didn't have, I noticed maybe like 2 or 3 kids. That's where when I went to Raw a month ago, there's kids everywhere and they're into it. They're paying attention. They're not just there of like, woo, whatever. Like they're cheering, they're getting merch. They're staying for the entire show, which I remember when I would go to shows before, like kids would be leaving halfway through, but it's a different experience now.
Yeah. And they're not getting vodka poured on them by one of the wrestlers,
right? Or having wrestlers' legs flying at them in the second row.
Hey, normally we would cut it off pretty soon. We'll stay another half an hour. We'll stay to the top of the hour.
Yeah, I'm having fun.
Okay. And I'm sorry, but we have to get a quick station break from Jake here. Jake, what's this all brought to you by? Where can you find us?
Most of the people here with us now are subscribers, but for the folks listening in anonymously or here at the here are the clips, but we have youtube.com/@AltJakeTakesOn. Subscribe, share it with your friends. We'll be on podcast platforms soon as well, so look out for us there. I post these recorded spaces every usually within 2 to 3 hours of them finishing. We also do a recorded episode every single week and classic match reviews. We just did Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect from King of the Ring 1993. Before that, we did CM Punk versus John Cena at Money in the Bank 2011. Our next one will be Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero from Halloween Havoc 1997. So we're trying to start conversations here. So like, subscribe, leave a comment on our videos, please. I do really well of trying to respond back to them. We also take suggestions. That Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect match was a suggestion from one of our earliest fans, Shubin. He, put that suggestion in and George had it on his list and we moved it up to the top because we want to be interactive. We want to try to be, a show for the fans. We're not professionals here. This is like one of those by the fans, for the fans kind of situation. So please like, subscribe, all that great stuff. We really, really appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah,
go ahead, Rabbit.
We've got another question, topic. What you guys got? We are open.
Oh, well, I since Ren's name got brought up, I was just thinking, so what do you think about the women's title situation in NXT right now with Jordan Grace and the possible future integration of Blake Monroe into that title picture?
So here, that's a good question because what it seems like to me, like initially I thought that JC Jane was like going to be the kind of like almost interim champion until for Blake Monroe to win it. But now I think it might actually be, I think Jordan Grace will win it and then turn heel, so that, Blake Monroe can win it, take it from her. And then that'll be what sends Jordan Grace up. Cause I still think she needs a little bit more work, and a couple months as like the heel women's champion, I think would do very well for her. But, it'd be very interesting to see. I'm really excited. Great American Bash is probably the show I'm most excited for over the entire weekend. I love NXT though.
Yeah, well, and I think it's almost an embarrassment of riches for them, because it's like everyone's like, okay, so Stephanie, Roxanne, and Julia are gone. What the hell are they going to do? What the hell are they going to do? Then they get Blake Monroe, and it's like, okay, so now they have Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe in just enough time for like whatever, call up from Evolve, or, LFG comes in
right
to fold in the future. So it's like that women's division just never stops being interesting.
No, and it's also, and I feel like it's one of those things that, I mean, you got to look at any of the NIL like for the female college athletes that are in sports that don't go professional. Like if WWE is interested in you at all, you can see what's ahead of you. Put in the hard work. Look at all these success stories, and they're success stories from everything. Some of them are, they worked on the indies and have started out as pro wrestlers, but a lot of them, like Tiffany Stratton came in straight from gymnastics and has gotten, and same with Bianca Belair. And there's so many more. Yeah. I can't even, like the women's division. That's why I was never worried when they called the three of them up at once, because I knew what was in the hopper, and there's only going to be more and more and more. It's insane to see how well they can, and how quickly they pick it up. Like Lash Legend and even Ren Sinclair, who came out. They're just leaps and bounds from where they were even 6 months ago. But if you look at like when NXT first went to the CW in October of last year to now, I mean, they would be fine up on the main roster, but they don't need to go up there yet, and they're doing great on NXT.
Yeah.
They make the guys look.
And there's some great male talents up there down there for sure, like with Oba Femi and other stuff. But that women's division, I know every show says, it's the best in the business, but there's only one that's right every time, and it is NXT. And that division's amazing.
Ren is literally my favorite thing on that show, and that's crazy considering they've got Blake Monroe and Lash Legend.
But she's awesome. She's the younger version of Chelsea Green. Like, she just maximizes her minutes, whether it's doing it as comedy, having good matches, putting other people over, getting herself over. She's just, whenever she's on screen, you have to watch.
I have yet to jump into the Ren Sinclair bandwagon, so I'll be with you when I get there. There's a
point where she'll kind of just get you. I don't know. Like, she just kind of clicks. I love seeing how the improvement is some of my stuff that I just like, because she was good when she first showed up. But like the stuff with the NQCC.
Where did she come from, Jake?
The Indies initially, and I know she was on AEW. I don't think she was ever like signed to AEW. I think she was on one of those per appearance deals. Maddie Renee.
Actually,
I think that's what they called her.
Oh, someone knows. Rabbit knows.
Actually, for her, she wasn't AEW, but mostly on AEW Dark and mostly in YouTube.
Right, as Maddie Renkowski.
Thank you.
And also,
right?
Yes, as Maddie Renkowski.
Yeah, I thought so.
Thanks, Rabbit. Appreciate it.
I wonder if her deal was like an actual contract, or if she was one of those per appearance deals or whatever. Probably
pay per appearance. If you're on Dark, you pay per appearance.
You're absolutely right, because like Rabbit said, she was only on Dark. It wasn't like she went down to Dark to have a match. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but and
also Cora Jade, but now she's Elena Black. Right. She was on Dark too on AEW.
Yeah.
Was she really? Yeah. I don't remember that. Good for you. Good call.
Oh yeah. If you put Elena Black on AEW Dark or AEW, they will show you a picture, but it's like she's more younger, like a little more younger.
Okay.
19.
But it's
Rabbit, you're scoring big points today, buddy. Thank you.
Good coaching can do and how if you're actually invested in. Because, I mean, look at Lexus King, too. I mean, the guy's, like, got an actual, like, physique now and can actually wrestle. It's crazy what coaching and hard work can do.
So, Corey and I were watching NXT last Tuesday, and Ricky and Lexus King were on, and we're like, so, like, are they just going to bring back the Rock and Jericho feud from the 90s, or are we watching some, like, Bizarro World, like, crazy shit with that? Because I swear it was, you know, heel Rock versus heel Jericho there.
Hello?
What happened?
Nothing happened. We're still here. Jake, are you gone? Oh, Jake might be gone.
Anybody there? What happened?
Okay. Yeah, I'm still. Can you hear me? Who can hear me?
I hear you.
George, I got you.
Yeah, Rabbit,
you,
okay.
Buddy.
Okay. Jake, I think it's you, bud.
Man.
All right, let's keep talking. So we'll get him. I'll text him on the phone. Sam, what were you saying?
I was just making a joke about Ricky and Lexus on NXT last week, being basically 90s Rock and 90s Jericho.
Oh yeah.
Man,
serves you right.
Elon hates you, Jake. I don't know why.
And I stopped and I was like, nothing. I'm like, the fuck? That was weird. That's all right. George had to say earlier. It's fine. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, kept it going.
We're problem solvers at heart. Yeah. It's cool. My bad. I'm back.
So the thing with Sam, what you were saying, I think Shawn Michaels really takes those angles from the old days that worked and puts them into the NXT hopper a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he did that with Mello and Trick doing the Diesel and Shawn thing.
Yeah,
right.
Which again, but that's the beauty of the wrestling industry, isn't it? It's like nothing.
Yeah, reuse stuff that worked and just make it.
Right, but he does it the right way. You know, like Cornette always talks about how like Russo and Tony Khan do we saw this.
Yeah, the thing is,
do something.
You can't just remember the finish of a match.
Gotta get the bill.
The finish is great. We all get it. We all like the finish. Perfect. But what led up to all that, the 6 months of TV prior, that's where Tony doesn't get it. And it's not that hard to do.
The build up, and even, I mean, let alone the storyline build up that got you there, but even like the build up in the match or in the moment, like you can't just have that one thing. Like that's why it worked when they had it with JC Jane and Gigi Dolan with the door and like they did the barbershop kind of situation thing, like because they built it up and it made sense as opposed to just, we're going to have you guys break up now. You've been a tag team for 3 weeks.
Sean's a very smart dude.
Yeah.
Actually, when that happened, I was sad.
And you were supposed to be like that. It worked. Like that's how. Like they do it right, man. Sean's so much smarter than we all realized. I feel like too. Like he's like I knew he'd be good at this.
Because everyone thought the same thing. Everyone thought, well, he's a pillhead from the old days, which he was. And he found Jesus, which he did. And now he's just he's a totally different person. Even Cornette said, he's like,
it's just
wanted to kill him.
Oh yeah, no.
Wanted to kill him in these meetings. Now he's just a good dude. That's fine.
What's crazy is like, I mean, you see it in sports a lot of times where like usually the people that are good coaches or good leaders or whatever in sports, like they played the game, but not at a high level. Like Magic Johnson, he was not a good head coach. And usually that's how it works. Like Sean was one of the greats and he's a great coach too. It's very rare that you see that. So I think that's kind of why I didn't think he would be as good at this as he was, but it's great. And I mean, how awesome is that for younger talent to get to learn from him? Yeah. I mean,
I make a case where I'd put him in somebody's top 5.
Oh yeah.
Of all time.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's in a lot of people's top 5.
Not mine.
I get you. No, I get you. But I'm not sure if he probably is in mine. I haven't thought about it, but I feel like for a lot of people, especially, I think it's an age thing. You know, like we were talking to George, we have some differences in our fandom. There's definitely that break where more people in my age bracket definitely have him as one of their tops. But
I love when I love watching Michaels back when he was in his good days, though. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
He was so entertaining.
I have Shawn in my top 20 because he's great, but I didn't grow up watching him.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
I caught the end of his career, well, from his return in 2002 to about 2008, 2009. He still was able to put on great matches.
Oh no, for sure.
You know, he may not have been able to do all of the things that he was able to do, but he was more sober for it. So I guess there's that. Thanks for getting sober, Shawn. That was very helpful.
He used it to his advantage too. Like he knew what he could do and what he couldn't do, and made sure to maximize that. Yeah, I thought the original DX days was the first stuff that I remember of him. Like and then the comeback was when I was really, really watching. I remember that whole entire comeback too.
Just be 100% thankful that Vince knew he was the ticket, because any other promoter would not put up with any of Shawn's BS that he was given.
Well,
Great point, my
guess
friend.
You have to be a little insane, and Vince was just enough insane to get that.
Dude, there's nobody, not even you or me, would not put up with that at the workplace, like what Shawn was doing.
Again,
it was crazy.
Yeah, but
and we weren't even there to witness it. We just hear secondhand information.
No, yeah. Hair pulling and crazy stuff. Yeah, no, it was.
Well,
actually,
this is why, like, I'm sorry, George. I didn't mean to step on you.
No, that was Rabbit. That wasn't me.
Sorry, Rabbit.
Oh, he's good. You go first. Actually, for Shawn's when crazy back in the 90s, like on the drugs.
Yeah.
Actually, I used to know like 2 people in middle school act the same way.
Well, we all have had people we've known to some degree who've had that temperament. I will say.
Yeah. There's always somebody who's like,
but I mean, this is why, like, when Punk comes back, or like hypothetically, you know, if Britt Baker comes to the WWE, it's like, okay, what 2 guys would know the most about everyone in the back hating their guts after a very controversial situation? Oh, Hunter and Shawn. Montreal Screwjob,
you know what?
And the
That's a good point.
Call.
Sam, I never thought about that, because I'm strong on thinking WWE shouldn't waste their time with Britt. But now that you've mentioned that fact, that Shawn backstage was a prick and everyone knew he was a prick and he was the center of attention constantly, and guess what Britt has been? That makes a lot of sense. You make a good, Sam, that's great. Thank you.
I'm glad I can be a help in some way.
I never thought of it from that perspective. Never thought of it from that.
Yeah. I agree with Sam.
And, you know, I think that's important too. You know, not that I think it's going to happen, and not that I don't have my own opinions about Britt. I mean, I certainly don't like the way she handled the Thunder Rosa situation. But,
right,
like, you know, if Shawn can come back, if Punk can come back, if anyone who's labeled a malcontent in one company can come back, because Shawn can basically tell every story that he at least remembers, because addiction is serious. So is alcoholism.
Well, and I don't think that happens with Britt and Thunder Rosa under a better leader. So, you know, that's not like, she shouldn't have done what she did. But when you've got,
I'm not going to put that one on Tony.
I'm not saying putting it on him, but bad leadership.
That's a woman's locker room thing. He has, that's something.
Yeah, there's just there was never any repercussions for people. That's a problem when there's no leadership. I mean, we've seen what happens with a lot of that. But I would be surprised if she showed up in WWE. I feel like she's probably just going to go dentist it up.
The more I'm thinking about Sam's point, the more I'm thinking it's going to happen. I was 100% positive she wasn't going to be signed. Now I'm like 90% convinced the other way. Just like that.
That's why I love this show. That's why I like having conversations. Hey.
Yeah.
Well, we will see. It's going to be if she does, it's going to be super interesting.
Yeah. And also just like the promo battles, hypothetically, the promo battles that Britt Baker could have with Jada Parker, with Mariah May when she goes up to the main roster, with Bianca, with Alexa Bliss, with
I don't see Britt on the main roster, right?
Not right
I think she's perfect for NXT for a long time.
Yeah, well, either way, it's just with the ability she has, I think, again, I don't have to and this is, here's my musical reference for the night. I don't have to like the Gallagher brothers to understand why those first two albums by Oasis are considered so good. Yes, they are raging douchebags, but they also wrote some really good albums. So.
Yep. No, I'm with you. No, I mean, Morning Glory didn't have a bad song on it, and they're complete douchebags. But yeah, no, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
Rabbit, you were going to say something?
Oh yes, sir. If Brett Baker debut in the main roster, I believe Triple H will do everything he can to make her like a superstar. To be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, for sure they'll present her the right way. I would think that I'm with George. I think she's got to do NXT for a good while first. But I feel like we were talking about that with Jade Cargill recently. It's like the longer you spend in AEW, the more you've got to unlearn your bad habits. So.
Yeah, Britt's got a lot of stuff to learn.
Yeah, but if she's willing to do it,
I think she could.
Put the nose to the grindstone and go bust your ass. Because that's the other thing too. Like Sam was saying, if you show up and it doesn't matter what your past was, if you come in and bust your ass, they'll give you the best chance to succeed. I mean, they've done it with countless times anymore with either malcontents or people like Jacob Fatu, who's got the legal history. If you show up, put in the work, do what's asked of you, they will get you over and make you a star.
The Usos too. I'm just gonna say this: the Usos have a history of DUIs. They've gotten
especially Jimmy
too. Yeah. You're
absolutely right.
Yeah, but that's what the entertainment industry does.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
So does Charles Barkley. So yeah, it's part of the deal. The thing about it, I feel like the last time we heard about that with Jimmy was still under Vince. I feel like hopefully the new regime is be smart and you will get an Uber. We will reimburse you. It's fine. Don't drive, you morons.
Yeah, but
I bet they're watching guys a little stronger.
Sure. Especially now with how mainstream things are.
TKO.
Yup, bingo. Exactly. They've got to be. You've got to be smart with it because, you want to be mainstream, things are gonna be, you get caught up doing that kind of stuff. You got to be smart about it. And I feel like they have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like you'll hear a lot of crap about behind the scenes shit, which is nice.
Also helps that they're, not trying to leak everything to dirt sheets. That helps.
I love that Triple H hates the dirt sheet so much.
It's the best. I'm not even sure if it's a hate, but he definitely, he just has no respect for them because see what they've done.
That comes from when you're a talent and someone says something about you that's not true and you know it.
Mm-hmm.
And someone leaked it out way back when he was at WCW or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
That shit stays in the back of your mind for a while.
And then just imagine, obviously I've never been an observer subscriber, but I can only imagine that during that, the ruthless aggression era, let's say, when it was only WWE, I think that's probably when Dave's real hatred for WWE came into play because that was the only game in town and what he loved wasn't being presented at all. And I'm sure he said some horrible things about Triple H during that time. And yeah, Triple H does not seem to be one to forget. I mean, he's got his nose as big of an elephant, so, elephants never forget.
For me, I don't like the dirt sheets because they always ruin, for any wrestler's returns or any surprises.
Yeah, we talked about that in our show.
Just gonna say that.
We just talked about that.
Yeah, George brought that up on the show. It was a great topic of they either ruin surprises, or instead of when they're giving you the news, they've got to interject their opinions on things with it. And how great has it been the last 2 to 3 years of having surprises? I mean, I'm sorry, but the Punk return was one of the coolest things I've ever seen, because even with all the rumors, I was like, there's no chance. That's all bullshit. People are looking into stuff, and then the credits came up, and then we got the, and I was like, holy shit. That was cool. Stuff like that is awesome, and you're not going to get that with the dirt sheets. And I love it that Triple H, because they keep blowing all the stuff anything cool that can happen in AEW, they blow it. So, not that anything cool.
Yeah, I'm with Rabbit. I'm with Rabbit 100%. I don't want to be tipped off to anything. I just want it to happen in front of me and go, wow, it just happened. Awesome.
It's just like a TV show or a movie. You don't want if it's like a TV show you love, and the new season starting with an awesome cliffhanger answer coming in, and you're at work, you don't want someone to spoil it for you before you get home. Same idea.
Well, and to add to that point, a lot of these dirt sheets will print mistaken injury news. How many wrestlers have come out and said, nope, I'm not coming back, I'm still injured? That happened with AJ. AJ's like, nope, this is a pretty serious foot injury I have, guys. This isn't not everything is a part of a storyline. I'm seriously hurt.
Or the other one. Or they go the reverse where they're like, oh yeah, Jade's actually hurt. No, motherfucker, that wasn't the storyline. I can't. My saying about the dirt sheets is they're 0 for 2025. Honestly, they were 0 for 2024 too. They just, when it comes to WWE news, they're swing and a miss.
I would take it as a compliment if I'm a talent and I'm selling my injury and somebody thinks it's actually real. I'd be like, all right.
They're doing my fucking job.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like if it's really serious enough, and you're busting your ass to rehab, and you're getting constant messages from people being like, why didn't you show up on TV, or why aren't you on TV tonight? It's because I fucking have a herniated disc in my back. Jeez.
When it comes to injuries, you just wait for an official report from the company and hope you.
100%.
Yeah, I do. Anybody got anything else? We're gonna wrap things up here, boys. Up in the hour. It's the longest one we've done.
Yeah, this was awesome.
I have a quick question.
What's up, buddy?
Go ahead.
Tony Khan is in his head, he's in a imaginary war with WWE.
Right.
I'm wondering, did WWE or Vince McMahon did something to him more long time ago when he's young or something?
I don't think so. I think it's honestly just he's read Dave for as long as he has, and he's
a big WCW guy.
Yeah.
An ECW guy, because you remember seeing the pictures of him when he's 15 in ECW.
Right.
I don't think WWE did anything. They didn't, when they first came out, Vince didn't recognize them at all. Didn't acknowledge they were even around for the longest time.
Yeah, no, I think.
Even though he tried signing all the guys before they got to AEW, that's the only thing he really recognized them for. Maybe that's it.
I think the WCW thing probably knows, because he wants to be that. He wants to be what WCW was in that time.
He wants to be Bischoff.
And he wants to take down the Giant and be the big man on, he just wants to be the reason that his company wins and is the number one company instead of.
Vince never did anything to him though, Rabbit.
So.
I don't think so.
I just think that's just, and I think he's a petulant child who always got what he wanted because he was a spoiled rich kid, and that's what he wants, and he's not getting it, so he lashes out and calls people bald assholes and stuff, and Harvey Weinstein and whatever other crap he tries to say.
Yeah, for me, always always have, like, since the AEW started, I always have it in my head, like, thinking to myself, did WWE or Vince McMahon did something to this guy?
Show us on the doll where Vince hurt you, man.
You could think you would think they did something like that. Hey,
no.
If anything, Nick Khan puts him down by calling him a kid all the time. That's
but
about it.
Nick didn't do that until he was told there was only room for one Khan in the business. I feel like Nick was like, okay. I remember that there, kid. Which is the best.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, this is a lot of fun, everybody. Thanks so much for showing up. We will do next Sunday, but we're probably going to go on earlier so we don't collide with, Evolution.
There's going to be a surprise next Sunday.
All right. So George is on that. So stay tuned. Once he lets me know, I will put it on Twitter and let everybody else know. But yeah, please like, subscribe, share our page, leave a comment on stuff. We appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for coming out, and we will see you next time.